Hello everyone, so this is a quick video that I've made a couple of times before in different versions of it, although the instructions remain more or less the same, and it's just about a couple of configurations for the official emergency alert app here in Israel. Of course, we're having a escalation at the moment in the security situation, and the official red alert app is called Homefront Command. There are a couple of third-party apps available, but this is the official government one. So I'm going to show you in this video, bearing in mind firstly the disclaimer that this is not the official government information, although nothing shown in this video will diverge from it. But it's a couple of additional steps just to make absolutely sure that the app can run in the background, and I'm making this public as a piece of information without any disclaimer. So firstly, install the app in Google Play Store, look for Homefront Command and click install. Although this much is obvious, let's just go through all the steps and then I'll show the various optimizations. So once you've installed the app, it will probably show up on your launcher or something like this. And you can get to this setting that I'm about to show in a couple of ways. Firstly, you can go into Settings Apps, or you can long press on the icon and then click the App Info button. And this will take you to a page like this. Now this is what it came to out of the box for me, and we can see that there's different things that we need to change, and I'm going to go through them one by one. The first one is manage notifications, and I'm going to enable notifications, and I'm going to also make sure that the allow in do not disturb is turned on. The bottom toggle there, I just turned that on. And this will allow it to give notifications even when, if you put your phone into the do not disturb mode. You can also do this by adding it as an exception to the do not disturb list, but this is the easiest way to do it. The next thing is permissions. And again, if you install this, you might get prompted to enable these permissions and do it that way. This is just a slightly different proactive approach. So you can see that there are two permissions that this app is looking for. The first, notifications, we talked about, and the second one is location access. You want to turn on allow all the time and keep the precise location enabled. Make sure that it's not on something like this or this, but you want to have it on this, allow all the time. Now we can see that it's showing no permissions denied, which is good, but there's one more thing to change. This is going to look a bit different depending on exactly what type of Android you have. This is a OnePlus phone for reference. And there's usually a setting that goes something like manage app if unused or remove permissions if inactive. Those are common names for this exact same feature. And what it does is if you don't use the app for a while, it will start restricting the permissions. Obviously, given that the Homefront Command app is critical for safety, you do not want to allow this process to happen. So I'm actually going to turn off that setting, which was enabled by default. So next, let's look at the battery usage. And again, these are just small things that can prevent alerts from happening and that you want to override, basically. There's a setting here for allow background activity, which I'm going to turn on. And I'm going to get a confirmation prompt, and I'm going to accept that. And what this will do is if I turn it off for a second, you can see that there's a setting in Android called something like, again, the names are going to be different a little bit depending on the app that you have or the exact Android you have, but it's usually something like optimize battery consumption. So you want to exclude this app from the battery optimization list so that the battery optimization doesn't cut back on the power, and that might prevent some notifications from receiving if the app goes into a sleep state. So don't optimize, and I'm going to allow the background activity. So those are the main ones. And there's one more that you might want to add as well, just so it has this permission set. That's display over other apps. So I'm going to just turn that on. So now we have all the permissions configured, and nothing should be preventing this from running as intended. I'm now going through the installation process for the app itself. So you might have already done this and be looking at it from the other direction. Because I've pre-configured these settings, it's basically looking at what I've got and saying it's okay, there's nothing needs to be changed. Likewise here. But if you haven't done that, then you can add those in the other direction. Finally, you have the settings in the app itself. And this is different from what we looked at, which was the system level settings. So you can see that for the alerts in my location, by default, it's going to be on a high ring. And I personally just try to enable as many things as possible to make it as conspicuous as possible. So you can turn on the vibration by ticking there. By default, it will also use the phone's flashlight. But if for some reason that you don't want some of these things, you can turn the flashlight off. And of course, you finally will set your location, but I'm not going to show that because it's going to depend on where you are. But go to the home screen and then configure your location. These should be all the things that you need to set in order to make sure that the app has the ability to provide notifications during emergency events.